Good day, Industrial Advisor listeners, and thank you for tuning in. If you have not subscribed, please do so by clicking subscribe wherever you podcast. Click the like button and hit the bell if you want notifications of when we put up new content. Leave us a comment about anything we discuss here today or general comments about the show. Now, let's get into it.
Welcome to our Industrial Advisors podcast. We are at IAMC live in South Carolina. Bill Condon, Matt McGregor, and we have an awesome guest today.
Second time guest.
Chloe's joining us. Chloe, pronounce your last name for me.
Heiligenstein.
There you go.
There
I would
it
have butchered
is.
that. Yeah.
Me too.
We've known Chloe for some time. Chloe started as a broker at Colliers in South Carolina and then transitioned to InLight Development.
Yep.
And
wait, back up. She was on the show before,
yeah,
and with Kyle, and we put them on because they were two of the most youngest, most dynamic people in the country. And it's still, and it was a podcast on first year in brokerage, and it's still trending as our top rated show ever.
I'm honored. I'm honored to be back. I'm glad I could see y'all at this conference. It's been amazing. I love to see the podcast grow as well. So good job, Kyle and I.
Yeah.
Yes.
You
Okay.
guys, you were great. You stood out early at Colliers because you would put yourself out there. You wanted to learn. You were eager.
I made myself known.
Yeah,
That's
it
what
was
I
great.
like to
Sure
say.
you did.
So-
No question.
So tell us a little bit about your career path, how you ended up at Colliers,
Yeah.
and then how you kind of transitioned to where you are now.
Yeah, absolutely. Kind of give you the short version, but I was really grateful. I got a scholarship from SIOR, the Mildred C. Hansen Scholarship in 2019 that was supporting women getting into commercial real estate, which really changed the trajectory of my career. Colliers reached out to me, which was amazing. Always knew I wanted to do brokerage, which is funny because what I'm doing now is not brokerage, but started with them right after graduation. Industrial went crazy. Life was crazy, peak of the market, and then typical developer broker love story. They decided to hire us. InLight was one of our clients and opened an office for us. So
Yeah.
expect the unexpected, learn
Yeah.
as much as you can.
And tell us what you're doing for them.
Yeah, so I started with InLight as an analyst. Did that for about 8 months. I love people, so really wanted to be in more of a people-facing role. And I'm the business development manager.
Great.
So it's great to see a lot of familiar faces at events like so.
Absolutely. And tell us what they do. Like, is it just build
Yeah,
to suit? Is it
absolutely.
spec? Yeah.
Absolutely. Great question. So InLight is a full service industrial developer. We focus on port-centric supply chain related assets. I love it since we do only industrial. I've only known industrial. And also, if you follow me on LinkedIn, you know I love ports.
Mhm.
And so having that
Yeah.
investment thesis of port-centric supply chain related assets really resonates deeply with me. And so we focus primarily on speculative product and acquisitions in the Southeast Sunbelt regions, but we will do national build-to-suit work with our team. So a little bit of everything. We do fee development, just outright land sales, everything.
Great.
Yeah.
Big. Yeah. Go ahead, Bill.
I was going to say, so what are a couple trends that maybe you're seeing right now in the development space for
Yeah,
industrial?
absolutely. It's definitely been an interesting time since when I started in development. Started in development November 22. And so that's really when things were kind of starting to decline.
Mhm.
Rates were increasing, money was not free. And so I think the first trend that we've actually been focusing on, and it's something I think about a lot, is increased activity in terms of value add acquisition and then retrofitting a facility to make it more functional. So a lot of industrial buildings were built in the 60s, 70s,
Mhm.
80s, more infill, great locations, but let's say they have a 12-foot clear height. Let's say no trailer parking. I mean, they're just not modernized. I think we're seeing it a lot in the cold storage sector as well. You either need a new facility or you need to figure out how to retrofit one. But I say retrofitting is a major trend right now because people just don't have the time
Right.
to wait 12 to 18
Yeah.
months. I mean, maybe even longer. We're dealing with municipalities that are backed up. We're dealing with wetlands a lot in the coastal region. So I think that that's been something that we've been focusing a lot on internally. Specifically, as I'm sure you guys know with a lot of your developer clients, is that the buy-ask spread between sellers and buyers, it's just not there right now.
That's
They
right.
don't understand interest rates. They don't understand that construction costs are kind of stabilized at a higher normal. And so just being creative, and sometimes I think that's going to be something we're going to continue doing a lot of in the future.
Do you think with declined demand nationally that construction prices will come down, or what's the reason why it's staying up while demand kind of curves down?
Yeah, that is a great question. I think just the materials are still just more expensive. It's when I talk to some of my local GC contacts, it's still always something. It's aggregates hard to get. Or, I mean, we have a lot of natural disasters that are
Right.
impacting factories or even imported goods. So, I mean, let's talk about like the Port of Baltimore. They have a fair amount of break bulk product coming in. So that could impact prices potentially.
sure.
And there's always a disruption is what I
Yes.
what I always say. So I think they're just going to kind of stabilize at that expensive realm, unfortunately.
And how are you seeing demand for your product right now?
I would say demand is there. It's not as crazy as it was when I
Sure.
started. Specifically, I think in the 3PL logistics space, we've definitely seen a lot more of those RFPs decline because they overextended themselves, unfortunately, when things were going crazy, took up as much space as they could. As I alluded to, a lot of cold storage activity, as well as kind of those service companies. So whether you're HVAC provider, whatever it may be, I still think that the tenant activity is pretty strong there. So we're doing a built-to-suit right now in Hutchins, Texas for Sub-Zero. And so that's a company that, I mean, furniture, appliance. The appliance companies are still home renovation, all of that. I mean, they're still looking to expand versus furniture. So
Any predictions on the development space for the rest of the year?
Great question.
Yeah.
Something we talk a lot about internally is what's going to happen to rates. Is this going to continue to impact tenant activity? So I think forecasting, if you've read anything about all the upcoming loan defaults and how we have $929 billion loan defaults coming up this year, which is 28% of the $4.7 trillion loans that are out there in the CRE world.
Do you happen to know how much of that is industrial versus office?
I do not.
Okay.
I do not. But I think a
Yeah.
lot of them are office
Yeah.
because based just on the time where we are, a lot of lenders are still a little reserved, I would say,
Sure.
pencils down, maybe just
Yeah.
working with some of their existing clients on some of the bigger projects. I think also built-to-suits, they come and they go. Right now, it just doesn't make sense because the cost of capital, the cost of a construction loan may be too high for them. And then another thing, sale-leasebacks. We've been seeing a lot of sale-leasebacks on the market, off market, because the cost of capital right now. It's a really efficient way to inject a significant amount of capital into the business, which think of a transportation company. They could have overextended themselves in the amount of assets they have in their fleet, and they need capital. They want to grow. And so sale-leaseback is a good thing to look at.
Yeah, I definitely think we'll continue to see more of those as we close out the year.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for your insights. It's great to have you
absolutely.
back on the
I'm
show.
honored to be back.
Yeah, it's a great 5-Minute Friday, catching up with Chloe on the development side. So thanks for joining us today.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks for having me.
Thanks.
Awesome.